Hey, it's Dr. Jarrett. Had a little technical difficulty. Sorry about that before. But I'm here today for my Tuesday afternoon 1 p.m. broadcast to just give you some extra tips. Certainly, just an update. I got back from San Diego late last night. Was out at the American Hospital Association and spoke on stage out there. Had a really good turnout. Was able to share a lot of good ideas with people that are continuing to transform healthcare in their own ways across the country. So that's always something that's nice to have. So it's nice to be out there. But I tell you what, San Diego is simply a beautiful city. It's a very beautiful city, and I understand why people live on the West Coast. I understand why they live in a place like San Diego. I mean, the temperature hardly changes. It's maybe 80 degrees, low humidity. There's an ocean breeze. You get out there to the beach and you see how wonderful it is out there. And it just makes you say, wow, this is great. So when I fly back into the East Coast, it's over 90 in Philly when I land, and it's humid and it's sticky. And I just said, oh man, back to reality. So it just made me think of today's topic about heat-related illnesses. I was just waiting a few minutes to see if anybody wants to jump in the room as we get going. Give a couple more seconds to see if anybody joins us today. But I tell you what, I'll go back to San Diego anytime. So anybody needs a consultation, they need some medical care, I'll go out there in a second and spend some more time. I was able to see one of my cousins out there. He was able to show me around a bit. It's just a beautiful place, I have to say. So you guys know I'm Dr. Jarrett. I am your board certified pediatrician, and I am here to help busy parents, especially you moms out there, just like you, transform your parenting skills. And I'm going to do this through my books, my videos, and my programs to help you have better parenting skills to be more effective with your children. I want you to follow me on my Facebook page at Dr. Jarrett. That's spell out Dr. J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T. And like my Facebook page. So, welcome to the room. I just saw somebody jumped in, so thank you for joining us. Today I'm here to talk about heat-related illnesses. There are just too many times you hear on the news, and it comes in a couple of different age groups, and I'll kind of walk you through it briefly. But the summertime is hot. Whether you live in the east, there's having very bad heat waves in the western deserts. Down in the deep south, it's always hot over the summer. You guys have to protect. So number one, you're going to really want to stay hydrated before. But let's talk about your younger children and babies first. Your young children and babies, they, particularly babies, have trouble regulating their own temperature. So you really don't want to have them outside at the beach all day, for instance, or outside in severe heat for a long period of time, because they really start to lose their ability to thermoregulate or otherwise control their own body temperature. We tend to do that through sweating. Sometimes when sweating's not effective, we might breathe faster. But certainly for your young children, make sure that you're keeping them indoors in the air conditioning, if at all possible, or in front of fans, and make sure they're staying hydrated, having liberal amounts of water throughout the day. So secondly, one thing that always happens, I see news stories across the nation every summer. Busy parents forget to take their kids out of the car. They're running around, maybe hands full of groceries, and they just simply forget and may leave their kids. A lot of times they remember after a few minutes, but it only takes 5 to 10 minutes for that car temperature to get hot, another 19 degrees higher than the outside temperature, and that temperature continues to heat up, and so heat-related illness or death can result in a hurry. So please remember to get your kids out the back seat, especially those that are strapped up and can't get in and out of themselves. I know it sounds like common sense, but it does happen every year. So make sure you're doing that. For your older children, your school-age children, on through your high school and college athlete children, make sure they're drinking plenty of water. Hey, Joanna, thank you for joining. Appreciate you joining me this afternoon. We're talking about heat-related illness. So those school-age children, make sure that you are giving them plenty of fluids even before they go outside. We see lots of heat-related illness that happens at this time of year because people are dehydrated and they just don't get a chance to drink them enough, and they get out there and start sweating and they start to have problems. So some of the symptoms of heat-related illness, some of the earlier symptoms are actually cramping, muscle cramps. Kids may complain, particularly in their legs, that they may have muscle cramps. If it continues and they don't stop or seek some cool air-conditioned places and try to drink their fluids to get their hydration up, they could get some cramping or some muscle spasms. You may get a claw kind of in your hand, and that means you're really dehydrated, and you really probably need to even see medical attention by that point. But get into cool air, get in front of a fan, air-conditioned area. And the biggest reason this happens is prolonged exposure to the heat coupled with dehydration. So you have to make sure that you get other people drinking lots of water. You don't need to have necessarily all the sports drinks, but even for younger kids, let's say under about 70 pounds or so, they should be drinking about 5 ounces of water every 20 minutes or so if they're vigorously exercising in the heat. This is particularly true when we get to the college athletes. I know it's soccer time, it's football season, and they start with the practices, sometimes even 2-a-day practices. These athletes must hydrate well before they even get out on the field. They have to get out on the field, and when they need to be given breaks every 20 to no more than 30 minutes. And those older and bigger athletes are going to need to be drinking 9 to 12 ounces at each one of those breaks just to stay hydrated and prevent these heat-related symptoms. You even see the professional athletes having to come out of the game with muscle cramps and some of those things. So as the heat-related illness progresses, you actually go beyond from having muscle cramps or maybe spasms. You actually go into maybe you start to lose your mental state. So you start to be confused. You might be excessively tired. Even when you come in from exercising outside, you may continue to sweat and just sweating more like you were still exercising just as hard. And then you'll start to lose your body temperature. Your body temperature will actually elevate. It can get over 104 degrees at times with this elevation. That's right, Joanna. So make sure you're keeping them hydrated out there. Soccer is just starting and they're out there and it's hot as can be today and it's so humid. Please keep that water up there and make sure they're drinking before they get out there. But they'll go on from that confusion state. And if you notice your kids are coming in confused or excessively sleepy, they need to see medical attention immediately, because heat-related illness, and when you get to that point where you're having fever and delirium or change in your mental status, that ends up being what is classified as heat stroke, and it can be deadly if you don't get immediate treatment. And unfortunately, I hear a few stories across the nation where athletes particularly have excessive exercise in the heat without the right amount of hydration. This typically happens because they come into training camp maybe out of shape. They weren't doing their 60 minutes of exercise every day. So it's something that really needs to be done. So make sure you are aware of those symptoms. And the biggest thing is all about hydration. So Tips for your young ones: make sure that they're drinking. You're not keeping them outside in the heat and the sun for a very long time. They're hydrating before, during, and after their activities outside. Those older school athletes and high school athletes and the college age, make sure they're getting plenty of hydration. Their coaches should be stopping them every time. So make sure you know those symptoms. Stay safe this summer. Thank you for tuning in. It's Dr. Jarret. Spell out Dr. J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T. Like my Facebook page. I'm here to help busy moms just like you transform your parenting skills to better help your children and thrive and have a better time. So I want to make sure that you guys go to my Facebook page, like my Facebook page. I'll be back next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time with another topic for you guys. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.